This is not distressing, this is reassuring.
London is a beautiful place where people can have excellent food, see amazing architectural sights, and connect with others. But beneath its polished surface, some moments creep up, shattering the illusion of peace and plunging unsuspecting souls into terror. So, from eerie encounters to jaw-dropping surprises, these are 35 terrifying London moments caught on camera. It's been a long day for the passengers on the train at the Tulse Hill tube station in London, but their day wasn't over as an even more terrifying presence walked out of the dark, wielding a formidable weapon. They can't make out his face, only his eyes glinting with malice as he marches towards the train with his machete raised, scaring them all. Out of the blue, something strikes him, sending him reeling to the ground.
Oh my god, he's got a knife. Oh my god.
The cops pounce on him, hoping to disarm him, but they find another weapon hidden on him. The tasers seem to have little effect on him as he proves to be a difficult arrest for the cops. He's apprehended to the relief of everyone.
Holy crap. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, there's another sword. Jeez. Didn't expect to see that, did you?
No, I was just thinking about getting off and visiting my friend in Tulse Hill. Maybe not.
Oh my god, look at the size of that.
That's huge.
They couldn't have imagined the tragedy they would witness as they got on the train. The train was awfully quiet, except for the sound of grunts and wet stabbing sounds. The person recording looked towards where the sound was coming from and let out a scream as she saw a tall figure, his features hidden underneath a hood, mercilessly and repeatedly stabbing a helpless victim. The other passengers sat in shock and fear, not daring to intervene, with words of prayer for their safety as the woman pleaded for anyone to help the victim.
Beckenham train station. Beckenham train station.
On the train. As soon as possible. And the ambulance. And the ambulance.
This man with a big knife.
And the ambulance.
Beckenham. I'm on the train to Beckenham Junction. And I think the man stabbing someone on the train.
The attacker seemed to have had a grudge so deep he cared not how he got revenge. Even with eyes on him, and in a public place such as the entrance to Edgware Road tube station, the attacker knew he had to carry out his next actions. The victim, oblivious to the dark eyes on him, was stunned into shock as the machete landed on him, hitting and cutting him. On the floor, pleading and bleeding, his attacker keeps on slashing at him to the horror of everyone watching. The assailant escapes to the relief of the victim, who gets to keep his life. Everyone outside watched as fists pounded against glass, voices screamed for help, and bodies pressed against every possible exit in the London tube, desperate to escape. The passengers on the train angrily struck the windows in an attempt to break them and escape, but the doors, which should have been open, remained closed. The people outside helped break the windows, causing the passengers to spill out of the train in droves, their panic evident on their faces as they managed to escape the smoke filling the train. Terror, that is what fills the train, sending chills down the backs of passengers. They are trapped in a tight enclosed space as a man, whether deranged, angry, or high, yells at them, waving what could only be the cause of their untimely demise. Trapped, they must find a way out. Panicking and hoping to escape, they run out of his murderous path as he slashes blindly at them. They run from the train carriage, thinking they've escaped him, but he chases after them. He's trapped in the carriage, giving the passengers reprieve from his terror. The cops swoop in, ending the whole fiasco.
Get down! Look away! We have to ask him. Somebody get taser you on. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm alright. It's not a Andy, I'm in the car. Justin, face down! I'm facing down. Taser on. Facing down. Hang on. Taser on. Get it on. Get it on. Do not move. Do you understand? Good cuff. Stand by. Stand by. That's why I took my jacket off. So you knew it wasn't. No, I'm fine. It's just someone I got beef with in the street. Put the phone down! I haven't got a phone. Stay still! Everyone move down! Still!
The train wasn't full. 3 other women accompanied the individual who was recording. Things should have been civil and polite. Unexpectedly, 2 women walk up to the third woman, trapping him in a tight space, and, with no words exchanged, they grab her, landing punch after punch on her. She weakly resists, but they overpower her, dragging her to the floor of the train. The recorder exited the train before any harm could come to her.
No, are you dumb? You call this stupid dumb?
Hey, good.
Lucky for the victim, someone in another carriage on the train swoops in, sending the assailants to the floor and rescuing the girl. Although bruised, she's able to leave the train on her feet.
Leave. You got your phone, yeah? Okay, you stay. Alright, you call.
This was not like anything he had encountered before. Getting off the train, he slowly walked towards the stairs, but before he gets there, the smell assaults him first. He got closer to the stairs, the stench getting stronger till he saw a man squatting on the stairs with his trousers down, defecating in public. The sight twisted his guts as he looked around, seeing no one around to take in the sight. Strangely, the man didn't seem bothered by the attention.
What the f*** are you doing, bro? This is barking, bro. This is barking, fam. Barking station, bro. That's the definition of barking station, bro. Look at that. Oh my God.
The woman was on her phone, waiting for the train to arrive at her destination. Behind her are 2 people, a man and a woman, laughing, probably having an exciting conversation. Everything appeared to be in order. Then a man, with his hoodie up and a heavy bucket in his hand, walks towards the couple. His grin widened, and in one swift motion the bucket tipped. A rancid torrent splattered over the man's head and shoulders, drenching him and splashing bystanders. Gasps erupted. The stench hit like a punch, and the crowd scrambled, recoiling from the spreading mess. It was an astounding sight to the people waiting on the train at the station. Down in the train tracks, a figure, a human, who appeared to be mentally unwell, crawled on all fours on the tracks. He cared no where he was or the impending danger he was in, to the dismay of the people watching. The man kept making loud, beast-like sounds to the bystanders, some shrinking back, others frozen in place, unsure if they should move or stay still. The postman in the high-visibility shirt was just walking down the side of the train tracks of the London Underground train station. From the look of things, the postman appeared to be heading somewhere, but something, unknown to everyone present, triggered a homeless-looking man who was sitting in the seats. Before anyone could react, the man lunged forward, and in one horrifying motion, he shoved the postman onto the tracks with an incoming train a few feet away. A few brave bystanders rushed forward, pulling the postman from the tracks in a desperate, adrenaline-fueled frenzy. In about a few minutes, the train would reach the Eglinton station and the passengers could alight, but things wouldn't go so easily. The man in the blue shorts attacked the man in black, but as the fight played out in front of the passengers, it was evident the man in blue was trying to defend himself from the frantic assault of the other man. Immediately, people scramble out of their path as the man in black pulls out a knife and chases the other man through the train. The man in blue screams for help as his attacker chases him. The passengers saw the attacker stabbing the man, and they all ran the other way. Chaos erupted in a storm of screams and terror as a gang descended on their helpless victims, stomping them into the cold, unyielding floor of the station. The attackers would not stop even when some distressed passengers tried to stop them. Despite the brave souls' valiant attempts to stop the madness, the attackers remained unwavering in their fury. The situation after the attack wasn't any better, as the attack left one victim comatose and in a coma for days with possible brain damage. The morning bustle halted as people froze mid-step, eyes widening at the scene unfolding nearby. A man lay curled on the pavement, his cries muffled by the thud of boots and the metallic clang of poles striking his flesh. The bystanders, knowing they were scared of intervening, watched as 5 men, probably a gang, clad in balaclavas continued with their brutal attack. This bone-chilling sight only ended when the gang left. Everyone waited on the London Underground train station side tracks for the train to arrive so they could leave. However, someone else had a different destination for someone else on the side of the tracks. The victim, a 91-year-old, was looking at a paper in his hand when his would-be assassin suddenly emerged and pushed him into the train tracks. This assailant tries the same thing again, but on a much younger person. Karma turned the tables this time. Doing a charitable deed doesn't always lead to a kind outcome, and this situation proves it. Seeing a woman helpless with her 2 tough dogs, the man volunteered to help her with one of the dogs. He immediately realized his mistake when the dog turned on him, barking and attacking him. This agitates the other dog. The man quickly lost control of the dog, suffered an attack, and nearly fell into the train tracks. The man and his mother had just gotten to the airport when an order stopped them. Not knowing what they had done wrong, and seeing the cops surround them, both mother and son immediately went to the floor. The man, trying to appear non-threatening, lies face down. However, the lead cop wasn't assured and used his leg to deliver blinding attacks that would cause severe harm to the man. Despite the mother's and bystanders' pleas, nothing was done.
Stop kicking people!
Even at a certain age, some boundaries should not be crossed. Yet the older man failed to understand this. The younger man, sitting with his attention on his device, suddenly feels a jarring punch on the side of his face. He blocks immediately and tries to protect himself. That wasn't enough, as his assailant kept trying to hurt him. The man decided not to take his abuse, sitting down and lashing out at his assailants.
Hey, listen, what are you doing, man? Leave it out.
Punch me!
What do you mean, punch you? Oh, yeah.
Whoa, hang on!
Hey, leave him. Oh, yeah. Hey, calm down. Calm down.
The young man and his red-haired friend were walking away from the London Bridge station when some strangers descended on them. But the attackers had a target, the taller young man. One after the other, they pummel him with their fists, bruising his face. The man feels blood run down the side of his face. His friend tries pushing his attackers away, but he's not strong enough. The damage had already occurred by the time the attackers left him alone.
Hey, get over! He's London Bridge station. Please remain on the platform for the next train. Passenger service. All trains, please, all trains.
The protesters, taken up in the frenzy of their cause in the Charing Cross station, raised their voices, chanting their support for Palestine. However, this wasn't sitting right with some people in the station. One of them couldn't take it anymore and charged at an unsuspecting man who found himself shielding himself from the punches thrown at his head.
We'll be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free!
The train rattled along, its quiet rhythm suddenly broken by a thud and a shout. 2 men lunged at each other, fists flying, their grunts echoing through the car. The passengers, shocked and glued to their seats, feared they would be caught in the crossfire if they intervened. While all this was happening, the threat of a weapon, a knife, being used in the fight hung over their heads.
Jesus Christ!
What's this guy? Yo, stop it. Don't ever grab me like that in your life, bro.
Although they saw something was wrong with him, they avoided him, not knowing his next move. He shocked them by lashing out at an unsuspecting bystander with his belt. The sound cuts through the air. 2 men hoped to subdue him, but cowered as he threatened to hurt them as well.
Hey! Stay away! Hey, guess what? Let's go! Guess what? White people get black in it. Simple. I don't care.
He got on the train thinking he could get away with his actions. He didn't anticipate that the police would corral him and force him to heel.
Let's go. I don't know. Come here. Let's go.
Train can't go with him. He's lashing out on people on the train. He's spitting at them. Forget the vocabulary, it's what the physical acts are.
What's the problem, man? Fighting with anybody. It's all right. You need to run out. What's on top? Why are you looking at this?
The passenger had been acting without consequence on the train, and it was necessary to stop him. The cop intervenes, trying to cuff him. The passengers weren't too concerned, thinking the cop had it all under control. The man's punch wasn't what the cop had anticipated. It seemed matters would escalate.
Give me your wrist now! Give me your wrist now! Give me your wrist now! Get up! Get on the floor! Get out! Up now! Give me your wrists now! Lay on the floor, prone now, and I will cuff you safely. Do it now! If you hit me, do it now! Do it now! If you hit me, I'll do you for assault. Charles, he's punched me in the face, we're stuck on the tube.
The officer spoke firmly for what felt like hours, gradually calming the man's anger. Finally, with gritted teeth and clenched fists, the cuffs clicked into place, albeit with some resistance from the man.
As an emergency alarm operated on this assistance will be called for the
I'm exempt. He might be exempt, you don't know. So you shouldn't judge. He's getting beaten up for nothing because he might be exempt.
I've seen you punch that line called it. Do say anything from them. You're out on the police. You're finished. You're finished. Alright, that's assault. That's assault. That's assault. That's the second time.
The next station is Bystander Point the gap between the train and the platform.
You're fired. You're fired.
The black guy just wanted to be left alone to enjoy the ride to his destination, but the other man wasn't having it. With each word that both men exchanged, the tension in the train got higher. Passengers exchanged uneasy glances, their shoulders stiffening as the air grew heavier with every exchange. It seemed words alone wouldn't solve the brewing conflict. So, both men went at it with their fists, and the white guy, unfortunately, could not back up all his talk.
I don't care, bro. You ran into the wrong person. Stop. Oh,
you know where I'm from?
Do I look like I give a f? I don't give a f. You in South, remember that. I'm not standing, you just leave me the f alone. What's wrong with you, bro?
Don't push me. I
did. I really did. Come on. I did, bro.
Come here. No, what the f?
I did.
Come on now.
I did.
I love you, bro. Let's go now. Oh, listen, Afro man, come.
Yo,
It's not worth it. It's not worth
what?
it,
Swing
guys.
it. I dare you. I dare you. Swing it. Swing it. I got down. I'm fucking down.
Stop! The bystanders kept shouting as two hooded figures tried to hold down a helpless young man. The man resisted and hit his face as his attackers sought to knock him unconscious in front of everyone just to steal his coat. With a desperate surge, the man wrenched free and bolted through the crowd. One attacker lunged after him, while the other lingered, scanning the bystanders with a cold, defiant stare that froze them in place. Everyone on the train seemed focused on whatever they were doing, but their attention was on the man in the middle of the train, swaying and holding onto the rails to keep his footing. He kept yelling and pointing at a young woman. She didn't back down, yelling at him in turn. Riled up, he stormed over to her. Before matters escalated, the concerned passengers rose, apprehending the man before he could lay a hand on her.
There you go. There you go. Oh, I'm such a horrible man because I was smacking a man. Don't start it. Don't start it. I'm not going to shut the
The young man, not knowing the train he has boarded, has a hive mind and finds himself facing a group of people so against his presence on the train. He was left shocked and unable to defend himself, as he was not wearing his mask like everyone else on the train. He was left helpless, as no one came to rescue as the women pushed him away from them and out of the train. Instead, they urge him to leave, pointing towards the train's exit.
¡Fuera! ¡Fuera de aquí! ¡Fuera de aquí! ¡Fuera! 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 ¡Sácalo de ahí! Y la gente de seguridad, vaya mierda de país. ¡Bájate! ¡Bien!
The train hissed to a stop, and as the bald man stepped onto the platform, a fist collided with his jaw. His assailants also kicked him, sending him stumbling back. More blows hit him, and he crumpled, arms flailing to shield himself from the kicks raining down. Despite being surrounded and outmatched, he bravely defended himself until the station's officers intervened to halt his attackers. The train halted and the door opened, spilling some men onto the platform already embroiled in a heated fight. Watching from the sidelines, the bystanders watched as two men kicked and punched one man between them. He's outmatched and he had to find a way to leave the situation. Finally, with a burst of frantic energy, he tore free, stumbling over his own feet, bruised and battered. This time, some bystanders surged forward, their shouts cutting through the madness, dragging the attackers back as the scene almost unraveled.
Why are you standing?
Everyone is just trying to get on the train and head home, but two people, protesters, thought that was the right moment to impede everyone. Standing on the top of the Jubilee Line train, the protesters riled the passengers up, and in turn, they threw their drinks at them. This wasn't enough. The passengers were able to get their hands on one of the protesters, and shockingly, they descend on him, causing untold harm. The young black men had been sitting, minding their business, but the white guy wasn't content with this. He, thinking of the most aggravating words he could conjure, threw it at the men. The woman, who was recoding the scene, and others tried out of the kindness of their hearts to stop him. He didn't heed them. The train stopped, and the black men, unfazed, walked to the exit, and one of them left a memorable lesson for the white guy.
Billy Still, what's your name? What's your name? Billy Still, what's your name? Tell me your name. No, you're black.
You're black? What does that mean?
Oh my god. Yeah,
what does black have to do with anything? What does being black have to do with anything?
Shut up. This is popular.
What's popular?
This is...
To the passengers on the train, it was a nightmare ripped from another era. 3 men stood locked in a brutal fight, their machetes gleaming under the harsh sunlight. They swung their blades wildly at one another, slicing the air with deadly intent as shouts and the sickening clang of metal. The danger of their fight sent everyone around them scrambling. Luckily, the 2 men slip away.
Hey, people! What's up?
Seemingly drunk to stupor on power, he tried to intimidate the woman by claiming to be an IDF soldier. That wasn't enough as he walked closer to her, invading her space. Moreover, she had her phone out to show the man she wasn't scared of his threats. She wouldn't back down, challenging him boldly, despite the situation. Swiftly, the security stopped him from harming her. He wilted immediately.
Yes, I need you to repeat that. Dirty Muslims. They're being anti-Semitic. Assaulting a young girl. And you are vile. You are below it. You're an excuse for a human being. How dare you? And you're not. How dare you? You're the one putting hands on women. Disgusting. I'm fully trained as an MMA fighter. You don't want to touch me. I'm an IDF soldier. I don't give 2 flying. That's what you want to
I'm here to get him away.
Why are you to get too close to you?
For real. I get so.
For a few minutes, the cop had been listening to the man rage and yell on the train. The man's voice drowned out everyone else's voice, trying to gain the upper ground on everyone. Everyone was getting annoyed, but no one was standing up to him or confronting him. Having enough of the man's booming voice, the cop stepped forward to him, delivering a world-spinning lesson that shut him up.
Fighting my winter, bro. Look at me, I'm strong. Look at me.
Oh!
The passengers never knew what they signed up for when they boarded the London Underground train on a Saturday morning. To their dismay, they found the train's door wide open as it moved. They had to take the situation as it was, despite how terrifying things were. Fear clawed at their throats as they clung to their seats, desperately distancing themselves from the gaping maw of the train. The passenger went to the London tube station with a device to read the environmental pollution in the area. The reading he gets shocked him. According to his reading, a particulate matter, PM, known as PM 2.5, is present in the place at a risky concentration, almost reaching 150.0 micrograms per cubic meter as soon as the train zipped away from the tunnel. This is quite risky, as anyone inhaling the air in the tunnel would be breathing in smoke, soot, dust, ash, and pollen, which would compromise your lungs' health.
Here we go. Train goes off. And as it pulls away, see that? It's going to suck in all the air from that tunnel. Should go down for a second and then all the filth will come in about 10 seconds time. Here we go. That's coming in from that tunnel. Right, so every time a train pulls away, that happens, basically. And that's proving the point. Sucks it in from the tunnel, and there we go.